Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Pro Wrestling Report Feedback Friday. We've got our comments to your comments, our questions to your answers, our answers to your questions, all that and so much more coming up right here, right now on Feedback Friday. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Feedback Friday. Davey and Nelson sitting alongside David Hero here on Friday, January 27, 2017. We are on the eve of NXT TakeOver San Antonio, which is on the eve of this Sunday's Royal Rumble.
So can we wrap this up so we can catch that flight and get out of here?
What do you mean catch that flight? I'm on the charter jet. Are you? Oh, yeah. Because of your antics last time you traveled on the company card,
wasn't my fault.
You have to fly commercial now.
It wasn't my fault.
Yeah. Well, folks, it is time for Feedback Friday. Let's get to your comments. And let's, as you said, David, here, let's just kick it off. The first comment comes to us from a YouTube user by the name of Charles Stevens III. What's your problem already?
Go ahead.
And I quote, Angle enters the... This is an idea from Charles Stevens III.
No, it's what I said last week.
So why don't you say it again?
No.
Read it for me.
No, Angle and Rusev. That's the... If
he goes further. He goes further. So you're bitter and irritated because he's giving you some props and sees it your way.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that he took it from me.
Angle enters the Royal Rumble, throws Rusev out. However, Rusev comes back and attacks him, and someone tosses Angle out. Simple old school booking for WrestleMania.
Sure, I think Angle and Rusev would be awesome at WrestleMania. That's a money match.
Money. Here comes the money?
Yeah, it's like Sergeant Slaughter and Iron Sheik.
That never happened at a WrestleMania. It was Sergeant Slaughter and Hulk Hogan.
I didn't say that it did, but I'm saying that's old school.
Thank you for that comment, Charles Stevens III. Next comes to us from a YouTube user by the name of Jay True, who says that he loves the Kurt and Undertaker angle for WrestleMania. Asks, though, wouldn't it make sense to put Kurt Angle in the Rumble to eliminate Undertaker? Taker then calls out Angle next week or month on Raw or SmackDown, thus making the match between the two possibly a retirement match. Interesting.
It is.
And it would be believable because both men could be at that point.
They both are at that point.
That is an interesting scenario David.
It is, but you want to see Taker on a bigger stage than a guy that has been gone from the company for the last 12 years.
Yeah, but I think there could be enough intrigue in the matchup. The outcome wouldn't be so obvious.
Both guys are battered and bruised.
Mm-hmm. But they can both still go.
Can they?
From what I've seen of Kurt Angle, I mean, he's not 2006 Kurt Angle, but he's still Kurt Angle.
Right.
Undertaker's not 2006 Undertaker, but he's still Taker. Why are you so bitter?
No, I'm not. I mean, they've had great matches in the past. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if that's the match they want to have at WrestleMania.
You don't think the high stakes make it a money match?
No.
No?
No, I don't.
Really? You wouldn't book that? Give them the opportunity. Career versus career.
No.
One man is going to retire. You got to get rid of somebody.
Because they're both ready to retire now.
But you, being the booker, knowing one of them is truly done. They're done. You wouldn't use that as an opportunity to make that match.
I don't think so.
Fascinating. Thank you for that comment, Jay True. Our next comment comes to us from a YouTube user by the name of Raphael Rogers. Think he's related to Steve Rogers?
Or Buck.
That's Buck Badger.
Buck Rogers.
Oh, the ship. This is referring to what I said about the matchup between Omega and Okada. Raphael says this: I see what you meant about the Omega versus Okada match, but HBK versus Taker also had a lot of spots in it. Too many. Had a lot of spots in it too, and many false finishers. Mm-hmm. Both matches have great wrestling in it, but yeah, Okada versus Omega had more spots. Either way, fantastic match. And referenced not wanting to go Cornette on this, he says, and Jim Cornette can just shut up and retire already. He's way too biased. I tend to disagree with that.
Here's the thing about Jim Cornette. He was very important when wrestling was amazing. Mm-hmm. And he was a creative guy. Mm-hmm. And he was a creative genius. And what he put together worked and sold tickets. Wrestling is down.
In Arena USA.
And wrestling is down as a whole. Mm-hmm. Because it's more like a choreographed event.
It's a tumbling class.
Yes. Believability is gone.
To the point of the Taker HBK match having a lot of spots in it as well. Spots are good in a match, don't get me wrong. But when a match is spot to spot to spot to spot to spot to spot with no story, that's when there's a problem. The story was clear in Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. The story was not as clear in the matchup I referenced from Wrestle Kingdom 11. But I agree with you, both matches have great wrestling in it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for those comments from Charles, J. True, and Raphael Rogers. We are actually going to take a time out, David Hero, and let you cool down a little bit. When we come back, we are going to get to more of your comments here on the Pro Wrestling Report Feedback Friday.
The biggest party event of WrestleMania weekend is back. WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash presents Shenanigans Orlando. Join Nash and his friends for a huge VIP party Saturday, April 1st. Party with the biggest stars of wrestling at the pub at Point Orlando on International Drive to kick off WrestleMania weekend. Don't miss Shenanigans Orlando, hosted by Kevin Nash. Tickets are available now and going fast at PWRshow.com. That's PWRshow.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Feedback Friday. Davey Nelson sitting here alongside David Hero. And you see on our shadows the Be the Booker board that we talked about yesterday. And what an episode of Primetime, an extended edition of Primetime.
It was a great Primetime.
Made some pretty shocking calls on that Be the Booker.
Because Red 5 is standing by.
I'm sorry?
You heard me.
Are we playing bingo?
No.
Balcony bingo?
You're burning tape.
And you're right. Let's get to our
Balcony
comments.
bingo. We did that, remember?
Where did we
Back
do that
in
at?
December? It was after Blizzard Brawl. I was out in the balcony.
Yeah, 069 was called, wasn't it? Let's get to more of your comments, ladies and gentlemen. And that next one comes to us from Alexander Dennis Ramsey, who asked a question. And I'll let you answer this one, David Hero. Do you think that the endorsed Dolph Ziggler could be a good enough heel to maybe elevate himself, Cruz, and maybe even Kalisto?
No. Because Ziggler has been so beaten and so damaged over the last few years. He's only won a handful of big matches. So it's not like he is a Ric Flair or Shawn Michaels that will elevate these guys to the next level. He'll have great matches with them.
Yeah.
You know, they'll steal the show. But everyone's beaten Dolph Ziggler.
But do these guys need a Dolph Ziggler to make them look
some-
better, to be better?
To have matches, yes. But to make them higher up on the card, they need somebody bigger than Dolph Ziggler.
They wouldn't go nowhere.
No.
Really?
Everyone's beaten Dolph Ziggler.
Well, I don't think. Did James Ellsworth beat him?
I don't know, but he might have.
Thank you for that comment, Alexander Dennis Ramsey. Our final comment of the day comes from a YouTube user by the name of James Cozens. James Cozens, who has a couple of things to talk about here. Firstly, and I quote, I don't think that Gallows and Anderson would have been as lost as they have been if it wasn't for Finn Balor's injury. Interesting point. They would have helped Finn get over as a smaller guy in difficult situations. When AJ, Gallows, and Anderson joined the WWE, their promos were awkward because AJ was trying to make it his own and was going to SmackDown. Now, the name of the club just doesn't work, and Finn may have joined with them to create Bulletproof, thus the t-shirt. I'm sure Gallows and Anderson will get a good run as tag champs. Oh, he's like you, David Hero. And maybe we'll see Bulletproof versus the New Day at WrestleMania. Interesting. Unless Omega and the Young Bucks turn up before. Referencing Kenny Omega, which everybody thinks.
But they had
And he might.
They had Finn Balor penciled in as a babyface.
Yeah, right.
So how could he have been with the club if the club's heels?
Wasn't going to work.
No.
Wouldn't work.
Would not work.
Maybe the Demon could be a heel and Finn Balor could be a
No,
babyface.
no,
like Mick Foley.
No.
Dude Love was a good guy.
Yeah.
No, they were all good guys, weren't
They
they?
were all, yes.
I would like to see that. A person playing two roles that are clearly the same person. One's a heel, one's a face. That'd be fun.
Ron Sykowski does that once in a while.
Who?
Ron Sykowski.
I'm not familiar
He
with
used
that
to be
term.
on the show a while back. You know that guy.
The guy that used to work with Eisenberg?
Yes.
Interesting. A lot of talk, David Hero, as this comment was ended, about Kenny Omega. And since John Cena put some pictures of him on Instagram, everybody thinks he's going to be in the Royal Rumble on Sunday. Now, of course, that chance probably is there. Who knows? But I don't think the WWE audience knows who a Kenny Omega is.
They do not.
He has had zero mainstream exposure in United States wrestling.
Yeah, yes.
So that would be a flop in the Alamo Dome where you might hear a pin drop because you're going to have many, many more casual fans making up those 40, 50, 60,000 people than you would in a normal arena
What if
show.
Rey Mysterio shows up?
Booyaka Booyaka?
Yeah.
Could. Isn't there some drama going on in AAA right now? And
There's always drama in AAA.
something about the Pentagon?
Something.
So Should they? Would they? Could they? Kenny Omega?
No,
Do you care?
not really. They have Dean Ambrose.
I laugh, but it's funny because it's true, as Lisa Lampanelli would say, ladies and gentlemen. I want to remind you, thank you for those comments, by the way. I want to remind you all to check us out at our website, pwrshow.com, where you can get all the information about our Shenanigans VIP party coming to Orlando, Florida as part of WrestleMania weekend. It is the biggest party of WrestleMania weekend, the only place you want to be on Saturday night, WrestleMania Eve in Orlando on the main strip, International Drive, where all the partying is happening and the biggest party of WrestleMania weekend happening as well. Details right now at pwrshow.com. Tickets are going fast for that event, which sold out weeks in advance last year. So, with that, David Hero, I want to remind everyone to join us on YouTube here by subscribing, by clicking on the little link down yonder there, and you will automatically become a subscriber and get notifications when new episodes are posted. You can also check us out on FITE.tv, that's FITE.tv, and you can also follow us on Twitter, David Hero.
Yes, I love Twitter.
You do love Twitter.
It's an amazing application.
How do they find you on Twitter?
David Hero. 2
At?
R's. At.
2 R's. Where are the R's at?
In the end.
So the R's are at on Twitter in the end.
Yes.
At David Hero, 2 R's at the end. David Hero.
Hero.
Is there a space, underscore, period?
No, it's all one big
At
word.
Damian Nelson on Twitter as well, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, at Linda K22 and the brand at PWR Show on Twitter. So thank you very much for joining us here on Feedback Friday, and we will see you again from the Casablanca here on Brady in Milwaukee, Wisconsin next week for all new episodes of the Pro Wrestling Report.